we doing?
How are you?
Good. It's been a happy Friday. It's been a great Friday.
You know what? Every day is a great day. Friday, Monday, Tuesday, just a day, right?
Yeah. No, it's never. There always be the Sunday scaries, right? And people get nervous about what's coming up in the week and everything. And like, no, it's just another day, really. And then Dave always talks about, right? It's activity. You're paid for activity. You're not paid for. It's just find what you want to do in that day.
Would you say Sunday scaries?
Yeah, people call it the Sunday scaries, where it's like getting scared for the week ahead.
That's good. All right, so this guest is a friend of yours, correct?
Yes, Andrew. Andrew and I kind of go back to when I was starting out in marketing within real estate. He'd always be popping in. He'd be dropping off some files and some different money for people, and we'd just always be having great banter when I was at the front desk, and it was just always great conversation with him. So he and I go back a couple of years, and then have just stayed connected through social media, the power of it.
Let's bring him on. All
right. Andrew, how we doing, bro?
Oh man, I'm fired up. This is cool. I've never been in something like this, so I'm excited.
Yeah. Oh, really? Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, this is
so. Andrew, where are you now? Where are you living? You're in LA?
I'm in Orange County, so I'm in Irvine, and then my wife and I, we just bought a house in Rancho Santa Margarita, so we're renting it out, and then we're gonna move in about like mid-October.
Awesome. Where? Give me a background. Were you born in LA, California? Where were you born?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Orange County, so I've been super privileged and blessed to have grown up in such an amazing area. And then I went to school in the Central Coast at San Luis Obispo, and then I moved right back because I love it. This is like a paradise. This is a dream vacation spot for a lot of people.
Awesome. So you sell real estate. You're a vice president of a title company. You said you work in mental health, correct?
Yeah, I do a lot of stuff with like neuroscience, brain training, and kind of a little bit of life coaching. And then I also have a full online fitness company as well.
Awesome. So let's get going. Tell us how it all began. Tell us your adversity. So when people are like tuning in, they just don't think you're like some white privileged kid that went to a good school and had it all later. Because you made it sound like it's pretty easy. I have this great life and privilege, but I know there's some adversity in there.
Dude, I love it. Way to tee it up. And you're totally right, man. Mike, people, that's what they see, right? On the outside, they're like, this kid grew up at Orange County. He's successful. He's got a wife, a lot of great things. But I've had, and I've told Taylor on his podcast, 3 significant like life changing moments. And I'll go through them kind of quick, but when I was 17 years old, I got like a staph infection, and it was on my foot. Didn't really think too much of it. Next thing you know, I'm feeling super sick. I pass out in summer school, get woken up. The staph infection went in my bloodstream, gave me organ and heart failure, had 113-degree fever. Literally was the color red. Like you would poke your skin like when you're sunburnt, and it would just stay red. So they told my parents that night, like, hey, your son might not be alive in the morning. And, we had some relatives come and pray over me. And I just remember like kind of slowly like falling asleep. And the next thing I know, I wake up in the morning and they're like, somehow the medicine took, like you're slowly climbing out of it. And Mike and Taylor, that moment changed my life because it made me realize just waking up each day is a blessing. Anything on top of that is just icing on the cake. To be alive and to have an opportunity to talk to people and inspire. So that was like a huge, huge life-changing moment in my life for sure.
What was the second moment?
The second moment was I played football my whole life. So I got blessed with the opportunity to be the only guy in our entire high school who got a full ride scholarship to go play college football. And I went to a public school down here and nobody really gets scholarships. It's not a school like where all the scouts are going. And I'm a big like football fan. So I know one of the NFL players, Ray Lewis, I love him. He said, effort will show up no matter what. Effort. So whether it was, we're losing by 63 points and who is that number 5 out there? He is still going as hard as it was just effort. And I feel like that's what got me in. I was playing running back my junior year at SLO, and just this freak accident. I was going to block the safety, and the running back tripped from behind, hit my back. Safety came over the top, collapsed my entire spine, paralyzed in my left leg. Just gnarly. Couldn't walk. And so just like that, like in a second, at 21 years old, I've been playing football since I was 6. So everybody knew me. Hey, that's Andrew Walsh, the football player. He's doing all this with football. And just like that, gone immediately. God slammed that door shut and said, who are you? Who are you going to be without football? Figure it out. Right?
All right. This is awesome. What's number 3? What was the third point?
So number 3 was when I graduated college, I started working for this really cool startup company, and it was like health and wellness. But within like a year, I realized like it's really hard to find someone for this position. Like we had a bunch of people interviewing, and I realized it's not really scalable. The pay is okay. I have a lot of juice and passion, and I want to help people. I might need to step out. Some guy brings me into real estate. Mike, I don't know. I know selling homes. That's it, right? So I know nothing about it. Thrown to the wolves, figure it out. So what do? I just try and learn from the people who are in my position, copy what they're doing. I go to menswear. I don't own a suit. I get suits. Taking people to lunch. None of it works. I get 0 sales. I'm like spending all this money on a credit card that I don't have. So I'm building up debt. I have no sales. I'm in this kind of funk of a depression. But the only good thing in my life at this time is my girlfriend. She's like very supportive of me. So I have the bright idea. I'm going to propose, right? With money I don't have. Genius, right?
You're going to secure that. She's not going anywhere.
I know. I'm like, let me secure the one thing that's going like this. So I kind of take out these credit cards and get a loan. Buy this ring I couldn't afford because I said she's worth it, and I'll bet on myself I'll pay it off. So I kid you not, I pick up this ring. I get a call from the CEO of the escrow company I'm working for. Hey, come see us. Shit, right? Excuse my language. So I get fired from that job. I have literally in my car in the glove compartment the ring, and I have $15,000 of credit card debt. No job. Guys, I'm leaving that Monday on a 7-day vacation where I was going to propose.
Oh my God.
Right? So to say I was freaking out was an understatement. It's enough for a man, for those of you who have ever proposed, like that's already enough stress and like drama, but nobody really knows that behind the scenes. And you guys can ask any questions you want, but it was the changing point in my life because I had those 3 moments. And every time after those, I got really close with God because you're at such a low point, you just rely on it. But then I would tailor off. Then I break my back, get super close with God, but then now I'm healthy, I'm strong, and I tailor off. This 3rd time around, I had no money, I had no job. I didn't want to go live with my mom. I wanted to be the man my woman deserved and, show her parents, hey, yeah, this guy will take care of her. And I rededicated my life to Christ. I said, you know what? I'm going to be myself. I'm not going to be what everyone else says to me. I'm going to be unapologetically me. I'm going to post everything I want to post on social media. I'm going to not wear suits. I'm going to wear freaking t-shirts because that's what I'm comfy in. I'm going to smile and just every day wake up early, give it all to God, let him take care of the rest. And I've just watched my life take off. And I cut out a lot of people too on the way.
Oh, yeah.
So awesome.
That's huge, I'm sure.
And
you mentioned something about waking up early. I want to tap into your story about your back and your injury, but you mentioned something about waking up early, and I know Mike is all about that too. I'm trailing behind slowly but surely with that, but you're a 4 a.m.er, right, Andrew?
3:30 a.m.
3:30. Yeah, that's wild. And can you dive into how that's been beneficial for you personally?
Yeah, and it's crazy. Taylor, you really inspired me to do that self-talk on the podcast. I'd never done one of those before.
Oh, thank you.
So I did my first one yesterday, and it was all about sleep. Because at that first job out of college, we used to have to wake up at like 3:34 in the morning, then drive 2 hours, get to a location, and train the whole company. So it was like wake up to, slam a Cliff Bar and get on the road. Versus now, I can wake up and do my affirmations, get into visualization, do my Wim Hof breathing, right? So by waking up at 3:30, I wake my wife up at like 6:30. I get 3 uninterrupted hours, no emails, no text, no social media, just full me. Like Mike, I'm sure you know, it's like I call it me time, but it's also like that brain and development and visualization time.
Well, what you've done at 3:30 to 4:30, melatonin spikes. And if you know anything about melatonin, melatonin turns into serotonin as light comes up. So the pineal gland, which is the superconscious, which is the antenna, right, which is the third eye, if you look at anything on the pineal gland through history, at 3:30 in the morning, the pineal gland is more alive. So that's why if you're practicing Wim Hof breathing, that's spiking the DMT in your brain. When you spike DMT in your brain, that is going to open up the pineal gland. So therefore, if you're visualizing at that hour when you're in a theta brainwave, because you're coming out of deep sleep, you're actually programming your subconscious mind. So you're actually doing it correctly. So when people wake up at 7 o'clock and they're like, I'm doing affirmations, I will be this, I will be that. You're actually not I will be anything, because you're not programming, you're just saying words. To track into the sub, like I run 10 miles, 12 miles a day. I get up, but now I get up at 4:30. It used to be 3:30, between 3:30 and 4:30, depending. If I have to finish off an edit to write, I get up 3:33. Same breath work. I do 3 different breath works. The last one is Wim Hof. I do 3 other styles. Then I end with Wim. Then I do my visualizations. Then I go run 10, 12 miles. And someone said to me the other day, how the hell do you push a baby in a stroller 10 or 12 miles? I'm like, once you know how to breathe and focus and stay mindful, you can go for hours. And I do it all fasted. I can do 4 or 5 hours of cardio with no food.
Wow.
Crazy.
0 food. Just on getting this clear, I eat no food. I fast 16 hours a day. I ran 30 half marathons in 30 days with 0 food in my belly.
Jesus.
Just brain strain amino acids. So you're nailing it. You're getting up early, and that's what people don't understand. If you can't get those daily rituals down early, the day has already taken you, because once you go into a beta brainwave like now, we are conscious.
Yeah.
The programming is taking us. You may hear something. That's why when people go and see a motivational speaker, they're like, oh, dude, man. Whoo. I'm like, oh, and? Do you know what I'm saying? You went and saw a motivation speaker. Great. That doesn't change the behavior.
Yeah.
And you said it right. You get up at 3:30, you connect to your higher power, and you get the work done, and you're of service. So you can't fail. Everything just lines up because you see the opportunities, because you're grateful. It's great. It's awesome stuff.
Mike, can I ask you a question then? With the Wim Hof, because that's what I originally found, because I was doing 5 a.m.s and then I got to the 4 a.m. and I learned about the theta wave with the affirmations and stuff, because I'll do like push-ups. Do you recommend doing the Wim Hof stuff first? Because
I do it third. I'll tell you what I do.
Okay.
So Wim Hof is actually Tumo. Tumo is based on Kundalini. So Wim took it from Kundalini. He didn't make it up. All right, it's Hindu Tumo, and you hear Laird Hamilton talks about it. So Wim Hof does do a lot of in-mouth breathing, but nasal breathing is very important. What I do is I do a Kundalini technique where you transfer the breath inside and outside each nostril. Exactly. What that does is opens up the left and right hemisphere of the brain.
Great.
Then I do breath of fire, which Taylor and I did on the show with Arazu, who's an expert at it, which is just pulling the air through the nasal, right, and pumping the diaphragm. And you do 3 rounds of that. Then I do 3 rounds of Wim Hof. So it's 3 different breath exercises over about 10 minutes. Then what I do, now Joe Dispenza is the king of talking about visualization and the law of attraction.
Yeah.
You cannot attract anything if you don't have an elevated experience while you visualize it.
Yep.
Okay. So if I say to you guys are young. So September 11th, you guys wouldn't really have much of a memory of September. Do you have a memory of September 11th?
Yeah, we played football. I remember our coach came out there and he told us about it, right? Because it's a traumatic event.
All right. Taylor, you remember something on September 11th, right?
I was, because that was 2001. I was like 5. So I was like in kindergarten. So I wasn't really too aware of what was happening.
All right. So here's a perfect example. Andrew, What happened the day before?
Oh, I couldn't tell you.
Why? Because the elevated emotion created the connection.
Yeah.
So the reticular activating system of the brain, right? Like attracts like. True law of attraction. If you, with a heightened, elevated emotion while you're in a theta brainwave, envision what you want, it's already in the universe. Quantum physics. So you will attract it.
Yeah.
That's craziness. Yeah.
Dude,
No,
this
it's wild.
is what I'm talking about, Taylor. I told you, bro, because my life has changed. And people look at me right now, and that's what they'll see. Like Orange County, white kid, privilege. They don't understand, dude. I'm up at 3:30. I have a vision board of mental rehearsal, exactly choreographed my life. I know exactly my next thing that I'm going to do is lead the company. Right after that, I have we're gonna get edits to our new house. Then I'm gonna launch my A10 social media course. Then I'm gonna buy my wife a G-Wagon. Then I'm gonna buy our second investment. Bro, I could go in order, sequential order. Every single thing is gonna. I have a vision. I have a perfect picture of it that I look at, stare at, and do exact. How many people would know that though if we didn't do something like this? They would just be like, "Oh, he's a trust fund kid, right?"
Yeah, no, you nailed it. And here's the thing: what you have to remember that people aren't going to see what you see because it's your vision.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So a lot of people, you're either running with me or you're running against me.
Yeah, and if they don't get it, they just move on. But I mean, the fact that you've attracted, look, you can close the gap really quick if you physically and mentally look, life is a buffet, right? And it's all perception based, right? How I see the world different to you guys because we have a different perception of what we've accumulated over time and information, right?
Right.
So it's just reality. But if I can step back from anything and know exactly what I want, why I want it, I can get it if I'm willing to pay the price.
Yeah.
Because dude, what's really stopping me?
This guy is awesome.
But you know what I'm saying? Think about it. So all right, so here's a perfect example. Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile. Okay, that was many years ago. Everyone said it was physically impossible. They said you can't run under 4 minutes. So people ran 4:01, and he said no, you can't. And scientists said your heart will explode. And he's like, I think I can. So he went out, and it took him a long time, and he ran it in 3:59. The same year, 15 people then ran under 4 minutes because of him. Now they can run a mile in like 3:45.
That's insane. It's so crazy.
But what he did is he did what most people won't do. There is a level that the Navy SEALs talk about. And when you think you're done, you have 40%. So what happens is the body, if you understand the body, the brain, when it feels any kind of stress, goes into emergency mode and goes, oh, you got to stop running, or oh, that's lactic acid, oh, and most people sit in the ooh. What makes an extraordinary person? They're not extraordinary. All they do is a little extra to the ordinary. So to the regular person, it seems like, holy shit, this person is next level. Well, to the person, like a guy stopped me the other day. He said, you run too much.
It's like, what's that mean?
But listen to this. This was great. He was about 60 pounds overweight, smoking a cigarette. Now, to that guy, I do run too much. Because he's 60 pounds overweight, smoking a cigarette. Right. I'm running 10 to 12 miles a day, and I never get tired.
David Goggins, right? You know.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. So and if you look at people like Goggins, what makes Goggins so good is not his success, but his failures.
Yeah.
He failed 3 times to get into the Navy SEALs. Most people won't try 3 times.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned so with like the only being 40% done in that mental toughness. One of my buddies was telling me about how he would make sure he'd sauna over, I believe it's no less than 20 minutes a few times a week, because that was creating the stress, right? It's like practicing against stress and that uncomfortability. And something how it also has to do with, maybe it's just with this, I don't know if it has to do with all the like running and other physical fitness, you may know, Mike, but also helps with stroke prevention as well, because that insane stress within the brain that can happen is that it can level out easier. You understand how to calm your anxiety a little bit more. Do you notice that by running so much and doing that?
I'll give you a perfect example. I was standing in a yoga class years ago, Bikram yoga. It was like 105 degrees. It was New York. It was August. And I was just standing in a pose. I was just standing in a pose. And my heart was racing and I was freaking out. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm just standing in a yoga pose. How could this freak my body out so much? So I started to understand by different poses, it's actually pulling and twisting the organs to bring the toxins out. So I said, okay, so what I want to do is get to the point where I can push my heart rate to like 170, redline it, sit in that for 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever, and not panic. Because then when would I really need to be in that sympathetic nervous system? All right, if someone pulls a gun on me, my heart's going to race. If someone cuts me off in traffic, my heart's going to race. So if I can learn to train in that zone like they do with the Navy SEALs, then they do box breathing. You can come back to the diaphragmatic breathing, right, and slow everything down, and you get control. So you're only using your sympathetic nervous system like an animal. Like animals don't die of cancer. They die of natural causes because an animal doesn't sit there. They don't have a prefrontal cortex that tells them, the zebra, oh my God, I hate lionesses, and ruminate all day. It gets away from danger. It uses the sympathetic nervous system. Then it goes in rest and digest and chills. We don't do that. We take one bad tweet, we take one troll, and we sit there all day going,
Yeah.
How many wars do we have in our head before there's even a war?
And I want to touch on that though with trolls or with that kind of stuff within online social media space, because Andrew, you're building out your social media platform right now, and you've been doing that very successfully, just from what I've been watching over the last couple of years. Do you deal with that though, to where you deal with people trolling, or where they're like maybe trying to paint you in a bad light, like you said earlier, right? You could come across as the typical stereotypical white privileged Orange County kid from here. Do you ever face that, like that kind of adversity online?
That's a great question. I use I guess I don't mind sharing this. I'm incredibly spiritual. So for me, it's like, if God is for me, then who shall be against me? And I look at every person, as a son or daughter of God, right? So I take a very, very religious standpoint, because I know the higher you climb on the mountain, the more people there are going to be shouting at you from below, right? And the quieter it gets over here. There's always going to be naysayers. There's always going to be, and that's the price. Look at Michael Jordan, right? Like, he was the most successful, most recognized athlete in the world. And in the price of that, dude, he's in a hotel. He's confined. The minute he leaves that hotel, thousands of photographs, photographers. He goes to eat lunch, thousands of people, right? You don't think some of those people were trolling him and giving him crap about some of his weakest points? You have to get to a point inside within where you go, I know where I want to go. Anything that doesn't align with that, I don't even care. Boom. Yeah. And I love it. I say it every morning. My wife laughs at me because I take supplements, right? So I take my fish oils, I'm doing my amino acids, and I look at it and I wink and I take my pill. And she's like, what is that? I'm like, this is my positivity and I don't care pill. I don't care what anyone else does. I'm doing me. If I'm honoring God, then who shall be against me? Because I'm not living for people. I'm living here to be Christ's servant and to be a disciple and bring more people to know and love him. And that's my mission here on earth. So what trolls say and what other people have to say about me, it's what God has to say about me. That's what matters.
I love it.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah, and for you guys, because you're a little younger than me, and we didn't have to deal with social media, like, it's really simple. I used to tell people years ago, in anything in life, you could be the toughest guy at the barbecue, but until you go to the UFC, you see how tough you are.
Yeah.
People can talk all day. Be so good you can't be ignored.
Yeah.
Just get in there and don't listen to people that are negative. Because I'll be honest with you, I do not pay attention to, if someone does something, I'll go, that's awesome. Or if they need a hand, I'm like, hey, try it this way. Or here's a critique for you. I never, ever, ever step on anyone. I will look at something and say, hey, you should add this in. This is what your asset is, but why don't you to add these things? I think you're going to really excel. Because I spend too much time in my own lane.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care. The amount of people that, when I was trying to attempt the 30 half marathons, that first of all said, I'm out of my mind. well, it'll never happen. He'll never recover. He can't have stomach surgery and nearly die and then run 30 half marathons. And the amount of people that told me I couldn't do it, I literally said, just buy the book. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, just buy the book afterwards and you'll see how I do it. Other people's opinion is never your reality. It's just look, respect. The amount of people, right, exactly. And here's a really good lesson for anyone watching. Do not get caught up in trying to change someone's opinion. Everyone's entitled to an opinion. You don't have to change their opinion. People right now, right? And I don't talk politics to anyone. It's none of my business. It's no one's business. You have people fighting over their opinion, right? Okay, but it's just your opinion. I'm not going to force my opinion on you. I'm just going to get on with me.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the problem. People are looking for someone else to make them change. No, stay in your own lane, be of service, be a good person, do the right thing, and then you synchronize with the right people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you're out there just
you're in that resonance with them.
Yeah, you're out there killing people and attacking people and being disrespectful. I don't care what culture you're from. It's just wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Taylor, I had one thing too, kind of piggybacking off Mike, because I think that's a great question is social media bullying. I do like going to the Bible. I think this is a great way for people to learn, because not everybody knows that the Bible stands for basic instructions before leaving Earth, right? So
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's in there, right? And one of the most famous books of the instructions before leaving Earth is Proverbs, right? There's a lot of Proverbs in there. It's kind of, like a saying. And one of the sayings in there is, when people's lives please the Lord, even their enemies are at peace with them, right? So I'll say it again. So this is something like, if I read something and somebody says something about me or to me, because sometimes in social media, that's the thing, is like you open an inbox and you see it, versus if like somebody's trying to put something negative, you just change the channel, right? Sometimes you do see that negativity, so it goes into your brain. So immediately I just pray, Proverbs 16:7, when people's lives please the Lord, even their enemies are at peace with them. So I'm like, if I'm pleasing the Lord, I'm doing the right thing, I'm staying humble, I'm honoring God, I'm doing my best not to cuss, I'm doing all the right things, then my enemies will be at peace with me, and I know God is for me.
I love that, man.
Awesome. All right, Taylor, you wrap it up, man. You got a question for Andrew?
I would say, where can people find you, Andrew?
Yeah, social media. That's great. Just go _Walsh.
Andrew or _Walsh?
Yeah, you can just do _Walsh, or if you type in Andrew Walsh, I'll be there. It's a lot of fitness workout videos and stuff in there.
It's all right. The @_Walsh, right? Not so it's 2 A. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So Taylor, what's your takeaway from today?
I mean, I think that takeaway for me, I mean, I've been getting really interested in early mornings and the power of that, because I was telling Andrew, a lot of people within my network and within that I'm really close with now are all 4 a.m., 3:30. And naturally, I've been starting to wake up earlier without an alarm. And I'm like, there's something I think in my subconscious that's kind of getting me to that at the same time. So I love that you guys were diving into that even more, because it's just more knowledge for me and for other people who are always seeing a 3:30 a.m. post and being like, what the hell is that? Right? Because there's power to it.
Andrew, takeaway for today for the people watching.
The 40% more. I feel like you nailed it with saying it. I had always, in football, they're like, do 1 rep more for like, we're going to beat El Toro High School. So I do 1 or 2 extra reps more, right? But the 40% more is like, this is that limit, but you still had 40% more. That's just your body trying to stop it. That was awesome, Mike. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Well, I always say you don't count the reps till they hurt.
Yeah. That's Muhammad Ali right there.
Yeah, It doesn't. You don't start counting the miles. I get 6 or 8 miles in, and now I'm like, I got to do 12.
Yeah.
But I never start, and I always say this: if I go on how I feel in the morning, I don't go.
Yeah,
it's true.
So I do the opposite to how I feel. I just go.
Yeah.
I just go. That's what the problem is. People get stuck with the feeling. Momentum creates momentum. You just get up and take action. You could have like you do fitness programs and leave everyone this. Throw theory in the toilet. theory does not give you experience. If you read a book, take those principles and act.
Yes.
I don't
100%.
give a shit if you've got a diploma or you've got MIT or Stanford. That's great. It goes on the wall. Does that really matter if you're up against a person willing to do the work and open the business and do it? No. Most people leave college and never read again. Do you know what I mean? So do the work. And I'm going to leave with that. Do the work. Andrew, I'll be chasing you down and sending you positive stuff. We're so glad to have you on today, man.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.